Hey, what's up guys? This is Party Ghost, and I'm going to show you how I write my own music. It's going to be a little clip of what I did, and hopefully you can learn something from it. Darth Vader! Okay, the first thing I want to show you guys is what I use to write my music. It's pretty bare minimum, so I think anyone with a laptop and a DAW can write freaking anything. So I'll show you exactly what I use, and hopefully you can tie it in with you and see what you need to upgrade or what you don't need to upgrade. But yeah. Alright, the most essential thing you need is a DAW. It stands for Digital Audio Workstation. So I got this. This is Ableton. This is the intro version. I have the regular version. I upgraded. But something like Reason, Cubase, Ableton, Logic, even GarageBand works. It basically comes up to the producer. They can do anything with it, but you need something to write on. And Ableton's really good. I love Ableton, so that's what I'm going to be showing you the tutorial on. Okay, one thing I do think you should get is a MIDI keyboard. I have this LPK25. It's really good. It's really efficient. I also have. Let me get. I got this Axiom Pro. I do believe it's overkill. I don't use any of these knobs. All I use is just the keys. So it is your preference, but I do believe you should invest in a MIDI keyboard, whether it be a small one or something fancy like this. But I personally prefer something smaller, but I got this big thing. So that's what she said. Okay, one thing that you do need to get, it really depends on your computer though. Macs usually have a really good sound card built in, but I have an audio interface. And it's a Fast Track Pro. It's really good for recording vocals and guitars, or a lot of live instruments, actually. I'll leave a link below so you can see what sound card or what audio interface that you should get. But this Fast Track Pro works really good for me. It's from M Audio, and yeah. One essential thing you need to write your music is to be able to hear your music. Not just hear your music well. So you need monitors or you need some sort of headphones that you can hear yourself good. Or hear your music good. What I have is KRK Rocket 8s. They're really good. I hear all my low frequencies really well. They're good on the price. It really depends on what you want to spend and how big your room is. But my room is pretty sizey, so I like to have something that's big and booms out. I use these Audio-Technica when I go into deep mixing, so I can hear all the stuff, all my shit really well. But these are really good headphones. I'll leave a link below on what I have and some other options so you can choose from. Last but not least, you need Tapatio, because you need your beats to be fucking saucy. If they're not saucy, they're not beats, man. So, drink up, bros. Fuck.
Hey, what's up guys? This is Party Ghost, and right here I have a little track for you, a little clip of a track, and I'm going to play it, and I'm going to show you exactly what I did on it. And also, I apologize, my voice is only going through the left speaker. I'll try to make it in stereo next time I do a video. Hopefully your left speaker works, but here, I'm going to play this little clip, and I'll explain what exactly I did. Alright, okay, so first off, I want to show you exactly what I did off the bat at the start of the breakdown. Okay, I always have my white noise go through. Here's how it sounds without white noise. Okay, Okay, it sounds very dry. All what this is just a simple white noise that's just going through. Here, let me tell it for you. What I did is I high passed it so it doesn't interfere with my low frequencies like my sub bass or my kick, so it doesn't get all muddy. And I auto filtered it down. All it is just an automation that's just going down. So it disperses everything when it goes in. So it's more dramatic. So it's like, but it sounds really good. So here it sounds without it. Now here it is with it. So it's just a simple technique that I think you should use on like breakdowns or like right after your big build up. It makes everything more dramatic and it like kind of relieves everything. So that's what I always have in the beginning of my drops. You can get these white noise samples basically from anywhere. You can make them on Massive, just look at tutorials how to make white noise, or you can just go on the internet and find one. Like just type in white noise, and then you'll find a Google sample or something like that. Okay, let's move on to my synths. So what I have right here, all that is just 3 different basses going through. So I have my hard saw right here. I like to call it hard French. I have my sub bass, and then I have another bass that I have right here. It gives me a nice hard tone. Also, what I did with these basses, I sidechained every single one of them. Because if you don't, it gives you a very nasty just sound. This is how it sounds without it. It sounds like bleh. You don't want that. So you want your basses to move with your kick, so everything's pumping, so everything's like moving fast. So this is how it sounds with it, and this is without it. It's ugly. Okay, so make sure you sidechain your basses. It's a pretty essential thing to do. I do it almost on a lot of my basses when I'm bringing in. Right here, it moves with the kick. Okay, so that's what I have right here. I just have 3 different basses, including the sub bass. And then we're moving on. And all this is just another bass that I made on Massive. It's subbed bass, same key. This is a D minor sharp, so all it is just one bass going through. So I have these basses right here, and then just switch off to a different bass. So it gives it variety. They're both in the same key, D minor sharp. So, but the difference is they're different basses, so it gives me a different sound, which is a Complextro sound. So that's all I have right here. And then moving on, I have a little. Let me solo everything. I have this little bite right here, and it gives me just flavor to it. See, that's all it is. It's just another Massive. And it's just simple things. Just a couple synths make a whole big difference rather than just keeping one main synth. This is for Complextro genre at least. But I feel you can do this in any genre. You can make a lot of variety of different noises, make cool noises. And then moving on. And this is my hook right here. I have this recurring throughout the breakdown. All this is just a little arpeggio. I layered them. One thing about layering synths, you can't layer them too much or it's going to get very muddy. So I EQ my synths, almost all my synths. I bring it down a little bit, like right here. So it doesn't interfere with my sub basses, my kicks. So all my kicks and sub bass boom out. It's just, all I do is just bring it down a little bit, right? Yeah. And then it fits in really nicely. You can go into like deep EQing to like even get crazier noises. Like here's one little technique that I see. It's let me bring that up, bring the key rate down. All right, and what this does, it's basically finding out what exact noise you want to go through. So you just scan it through. It's frequency scanning. That's what it's called. Yeah, I use that technique when like I find out like my synths are not coming through enough, so I try to find a little sweet spot and find a little good spot where I can find out, and then I just bring it up and I scan it through and I find it where it like stands out the most and where it sounds good too, and then I just bring it down, and there you go. It fits in everything with everything else. That's just for instance. Let me bring it off though, right where it was. Okay, so that's what I have right here. And that's a little bit about EQing. What I should do is put this basically on everything except my sub bass. Even put it on your bass, but don't put it too much. So this is a little. I put this type of EQ almost on everything, so it gives me a clean mix. Okay, so just in that part, I have multiple synths going on. It's not too complicated once you get the hang of it. I layer my synths, and then here's my hook. Well, even though this is my... Oops. No, I lost myself. Oh, God. I don't even know what just happened right there. Oh, okay. My computer's laggy. Okay, right there, I have two hooks going on that reoccurs throughout the song besides the bass. And this is the disco sample. What this is just a clip that I found out of a bigger clip, and I sampled it out of there. Here, let me show you. This is how big the clip is. Okay, so I just find like a little clip. I like this little part, and then I just put it in the breakdown. And that's what I did with these parts right here. So I just found what I liked, and then I put it in there. Okay, and let me explain to you on how to do it from scratch. So let's say you have a song. Let's just bring out this song right here. I have a whole bunch of disco songs. And then we just bring in an MP3. Let's make sure it's in high quality. If it's an MP3 and not like a Rex file, make sure you put it in the right BPM. So it fits with everything. Sometimes it's going to be off, so you got to fix it. Let's just play it really quick and find a little sample that we like. Alright, for time's sake, let's just grab some random right here. This will be fine. Okay. I cut everything out. So what we need to do next is fit it in the right key of the song. So this song is a D sharp minor. So let me listen to this. Bring it down to, and that's in D sharp minor now. Okay. Now let's just copy this. And then what you gotta do is just basically fit it in there, and then just find out where it'll fit best. You might have to try it a million different times. Let's just put it in there, see how it sounds. Okay, that doesn't even sound good at all. What's this? That's the same song. Okay, and let's just put it in there. Oops. Oh, what the heck is this? Whatever, let's... just fight it in there. Doesn't even sound good. Well, anyways, that's the technique that you would do. You transpose it into the right key of the song, and then just find a little clip that you like, and just put it in there. Figure out a million times until it sounds right. That's what I do for my disco songs. Okay, let's move on in the track. Okay, so after this part, so it's just another different type of synth. I just have a different bass going on. I just alternate a lot of my synths. It's in the same exact key, but what I do is just I just alternate them. That's all I basically do. And there's another alteration right there. Okay, so after this bar is done, I like to bring in my hats so it keeps it more flowing. And all it is just the hi-hats. Simple beat. I don't have it EQ'd, but I usually would just put this little EQ on here so it doesn't interfere with my bass or kick. I might raise it a little bit, find out a little good sweet spot. Sounds nice right up there. Maybe lower that down a little bit. And then that's what I do for my hi-hats. Just EQ a little bit. I bring it in on my second half so it keeps it flowing. And then if the bar is longer, if my track's longer, I make it double time so it goes even faster. So that's what I do for my hi-hats. For my kicks, what I do is I sample my kicks. And then I put in my little drum rack, which is a little built-in thing that Ableton has. Just drag it in there and you got a drum rack. And then you find your samples and then you just put them in here. And then that's it. Okay, so for my kicks, I layer my kicks. I have two different kicks going on right here. I got a nice little punchy kick. I raise the volume. A lot of people EQ them and then put on their high pass filter or low pass, whatever it is. And then you get a nice molding sound. I forgot to do my EQing and put my filters on, so I just have two layered kicks. So this is a nice little punchy kick. And then right here, I have a nice little subby kick going on. And then together, they make a really punchy kick, actually. So that's what I do with my kicks. Just make sure you layer kicks, but you can't layer them too much. Otherwise, it's going to get too muddy, and it just sounds really distorted and ugly. A lot of people do is they put a little bit of distortion on their kicks, so it gives it a little punch to it. I didn't do it. I forgot to because I'm still in the process of this track. But when I get to my mixing, I'm going to put a little bit of distortion, and then I'm going to EQ my kicks. So make sure you do all of that. Okay, for my snares, same exact thing. I layer them. This time I have 3 different snares going on. It's all about finding the right samples to get you a right sound that will fit in with your track. Sometimes samples don't fit in with your track. Not all of them are going to fit. So what I have right here, so I just have like a nice clap, a nice little punchy snare, and then I got a nice little hard hitting snare. So all together, they make a really nice sounding snare. And how it sounds with the track. They're coming through the mix, so that's all that matters. And you gotta make sure they punch and they sound good. So these samples I got are from Vengeance. Vengeance has really, really good percussion samples. So I love using Vengeance for my hi-hats, basically all my percussion. Let's move on to the second half. Okay, the point of making everything, you're supposed to make like things more different. Otherwise, it's gonna sound monotonous and it sounds really boring. So from this part, I keep the essential beats the same, but like all these little hooks that I have in here, I change them throughout the thing because it's gonna sound too monotonous. In other words, so what I added first is I layered another bass with my hard sauce. And what this is just another massive thing that I made. It's the EU bass because it gives me like a little EU sound, and it goes in with it. Still the same thing right here, but I just added a simple different bass. And then I add a different part. What this is just a guitar sample that I found. Oops. Let me bring it out here so you can hear the full thing. I just found a little. Let me see if I transposed it. Yeah, I transposed it down. So it was in a different key, and I just found it in the right key. I just transposed it. I forgot to do high quality, actually. Let me put that on that one. And then here's the full sample. And I just found a little part that I liked, and I fit it in there. Okay, and that's basically it. And what this is just a wobble. I raised the LFO on it in massive, and it's a nice little, it's a weird little bass thing. That's what I call it. So all it is just raised LFO. You can get crazy sounds with this. Let's put it back where it was. Yeah, and then you get a lot of crazy sounds with messing with LFOs and stuff. Yeah. That's basically it. I'll play it one more time so you guys get a feel of it with everything that I explained. Okay, and that's basically it, writing a Complextro track. You see people like Skrillex, Madeon, Zed, Porter Robinson do all this type of stuff. It's a tactic that anyone can learn. Just put the time in, and then just make sure you make your own synths, because you'll get a unique sound, and it'll come out even better. For mastering and mixing, it's all about getting your mix right, making everything sound in the right level where it's not clipping, and making everything mold together. So I make sure all my mix is right. One thing I use to mix is this little thing, utility. Sometimes I need to bring everything in the center, so you can either raise the width. Let me show you how that works. Let me slow it. Okay, this is how it's gonna come in once you put it in there. It's right in the built-in Ableton. So rather than switching to the volume right here, I use utility. I can either raise the gain or all that stuff. Okay, here's how it sounds at 100% width. And here's how it sounds dead in the middle. So what I like to do on this, I like to put all my vocals all the way at 0%, my percussion at 0%, and sometimes my synths. It really depends on which synth it is. My leads I like to put at 0. Basses I like to keep it like around 50%. But sometimes everything sounds different, so you gotta mess around with that and find out. I like to keep everything when I start off at negative 1.67, and then I move up, because it's easier to have your volumes lowered than higher. Because if you have everything clipping off the bat, it's gonna be hard to mix it down. So I like to have my volumes lowered, and then I find out what do I need to raise. So this one, I just have it up, because this is a really crappy freaking sample that I found, or song I found. So I had to raise it all the way up. But I'm going to mix it down when it gets to the mixing process. Okay, so that's for mixing. Make sure you EQ everything right. I still need to put my EQs on that. Let me find one. See, here's my EQ. I almost put this on everything, basically, except my kicks. For my mastering, what I use, the plugin I use, is Ozone 5. There's an awesome preset that I use. It's Gentle Tube. You can find out all the presets that other people like. You just mess around with it. But what I do is I turn the dithering on, and then it's already on negative 0.3, but make sure your margin is on -0.3 if you're using ozone. And then the threshold, I like to raise it, or it depends on the track. Sometimes I need to raise the volume because I mixed it too low. And yeah, that's basically it for mastering. It gives me a nice master. Here's how it sounds. It's not even mixed all the way, but here's how it sounds without the master. You can see the huge difference. See, everything's clipping right now, and here's how it sounds with it. It makes a huge difference. I love ozone, but you got to make sure your mix is right. My mix is horrible right now, so. But yeah, that's what I use for mastering. There's a plugin that I also use. It's by Data Life. It's the sausage fattener. Sometimes you want to put it on like a bus. Like, let's say here's the breakdown bus, and maybe you need to fucking like pump that shit up. So for like just to mess around with it, I'll show you what it can do. Like, you can get fucking super heavy sounds, but you gotta be careful with it, otherwise it's gonna sound disgusting. But you can make it. Right now it sounds really ugly because I'm not even putting it in the right place. But I use that on my synths. I make my synths through Silent and Massive right here, and sometimes I use Contact. I use Contact for my pianos because it has nice little piano plugins in there. I don't use FM8. I see a lot of people use FM8. I don't use it at all. One thing I like to do is put guitar rig on my synths because it has a really good distortion on it, and then you can get crazy sounds on it. You can get synths that sound like guitars if you wanted to. Let me just show you really quick what it can do. What's this? Okay, this, I'm not guaranteed this is gonna sound good, but just the idea on what you do when you do put in guitar rig. So let's just go to a preset already. Let's just go with this one. So what you need to do is turn off the control room. There's going to be a lot of them that have these cabinets. You got to just make sure all the cabinets are off. And sometimes the delay might fuck with it, so it might sound disgusting. See, that's a hard sound right there. And here's without it. And with it. So you can get really, really distorted sounds. So you can get cool ass sounds. Whoa there, buddy. Okay, and then that's what I like to do with my synths. Sometimes I put guitar rig. That's a cool little technique. That's basically it. There's not really much to it. It's just about getting everything right, get your arrangements right. And yeah, that's it. So hopefully you learned something. If not, I'm down to cover more stuff, so just send me a message. And also, you can download all my music for free on SoundCloud. I'll leave the links below, and hopefully I did a good job. But this is how I write my tracks, and I'll see you guys later. Party Ghost is out. Peace.